Goldman Sachs just dropped a bomb when it comes to financial planning and what you should be doing with your money. They said the S&P 500 from here on out is going to deliver a 3% annual rate of return. That is crazy news right now. Goldman Sachs is probably the most respected brand on Wall Street. People listen to them, and they have an extensive report where they went over how they came to this number. Here's why that's such a big deal. The default investment for most Americans has been the S&P 500. Even Warren Buffett himself has said, don't try and beat the stock market, just go buy the S&P 500 fund. He's bet hedge fund managers to go try and beat the S&P 500 fund, and he wins every time in those bets, and these hedge fund managers have to go and donate money to charity. So the S&P 500 has been a tried and true place. In the last 10 years, the S&P 500 has delivered a 13% annual return. It's been a pretty phenomenal place to be in the last 10 years. And historically, over the last 40 years, it's delivered an 8% annual rate of return. Reliable place to go and invest when you don't know what else to do. But Goldman is saying this is not the place to be anymore. It will only deliver a 3% return. There's a couple reasons why I'm going to explain here in a moment, but also I want to give you some tips on what else you should be doing. I'm Matt Sorensen. Let's build wealth. Here's the gist of why they say the S&P 500 will only deliver 3% annual returns. It's overvalued. It's overpriced. That's the gist of their report here. They're saying it is already priced so high. The price to earning ratios of the stocks in the S&P 500 are off the charts. And also, there is more concentration of investment dollars in the stock market right now than there has ever been in the past 100 years. They're saying it's overvalued and that these companies cannot deliver the profits on these overpriced stock prices. Where should you go and invest and look for value? If it's not the S&P 500, what else should I be doing? And maybe this is money in your personal brokerage account that could be in the S&P 500. Maybe this is money in your IRA or 401k. I want to give you some ideas on what else you can be doing. Now, this starts with a conversation on alternative assets. They're not so alternative. We're going to be talking about stuff like real estate and private businesses here in a second. But what I'm saying is you don't just have to invest wholly in the stock market. Even your IRA or 401k can invest in non-publicly traded assets. It takes what's called a self-directed IRA. I've got a video here that explains how that works. I've got a lot of content on how you can use IRAs and 401ks to buy real estate, small businesses, private companies. But in general, I just want to hit this concept of investing off Wall Street. Let's talk about real estate here. Tried and true place to invest. You can buy rental properties. These could be single family. You can invest in syndications, people doing multifamily or other commercial real estate. You can private lend your money to other people doing real estate investments. That's what I do with my money right now. I get 12% interest and 2 points when I lend money. It's secured on the real property to other real estate investors doing deals. You can invest in private companies and small business. You can invest in oil and gas. Of course, there's crypto. All these other alternative assets are assets you can be investing in. It takes a little bit more work than typing in SPY in the ticker or whatever S&P 500 fund you're buying. And I'm not saying don't do the S&P 500 anymore. I'm just saying Goldman Sachs just sent a shot across the bow to all of us that are invested in this to say, maybe you should be doing something else. Maybe you should consider investing out of the stock market because it is so highly concentrated right now with investment dollars and is overpriced. Now, to get started in alternative assets, you need to understand these different asset classes. How do I invest in a private business? Maybe it's a private equity fund. Maybe it's a rental property. How do I learn how to do these things? I want to give you some places to go. First, real estate. There is a real estate investment club, a real estate investors association, sometimes called a RIA, in all 50 states. And in your city, there is one where there are local real estate investors who go and meet, talk about deals. There's a lot of educational ways you can learn. So I'd recommend going to your local RIA to learn more about real estate investing and meet with real people who actually do this. Small business can be as simple as starting a side hustle yourself or investing in some other friend or family member's small business. Now, there's risks to this, of course. I want you to take calculated risks and not bet the farm on certain things. But small business is what fuels America. And you can invest in a small business with personal dollars or, again, even your IRA or 401k. There's other private private equity funds. These are privately owned businesses where you can invest in a fund that buys privately owned businesses, and sometimes they'll go take them public, or they'll grow them and sell them to another private equity firm or to a bigger company. I did a video with A-Rod here explaining how private equity works. There's also venture capital, of course. You can invest in startups. There's an angel investor network in your community too. You can go to a lot of different websites to learn about venture investing, and there's also venture funds you can invest in. Some of these private fund structures, you must be an accredited investor. That means you must have $1 million of net worth, excluding the equity in your home, or you make $200,000 annual income if you're single, $300,000 annual income if you're married. If you don't qualify there, there's still other investments you can do, small business, real estate, but if you qualify as an accredited investor, you're gonna have more off Wall Street investment options. Now, there's oil and gas, there's crypto, of course. These are all different asset classes you can invest in. And again, remember, your IRA or 401k can do this as well. Now, I actually have an event called the Alt Asset Summit where we talk about this. And if you go to altassetsummit.com, you can learn more. You can get the recording on that as well. And we go over all these different asset classes of things you could invest in that are off of Wall Street. Building wealth isn't just the stock market or the S&P 500. That's one piece of it, and I want you to think about that and consider it. But true wealth building happens from also thinking about real estate, rental real estate, short-term, long-term, mid-term rentals, flipping properties, private lending on real estate, small business, private equity, venture capital, oil and gas, crypto. These are all things that are part of wealth building that you should be considering as you're looking to grow and build wealth. Now, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel because I'm talking about all these strategies and tools that are available to you to grow and build wealth. I'm Matt Sorensen. We'll see you next time.